everyone, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted, and today I'm hanging out with
Ericus Dave. So this is our first time trying this to see how it goes. We do have a GM911 that came into us, so we'll be using that for our inaugural. No, shush, hush, hush, hush. All right, there we go.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, not sorry.
So if you look down in the description of the video, there is the message that we received in regards to Noel's question. And there's definitely some interesting points to be brought up. Essentially, they have a player who wants to fight with shields. You know, they want to get as much armor as possible, as, you know, kind of the argument that they're using. But they have some cool features and things that they want to do, based off things that they've seen in video games and movies and the like. And I think that there's some fun stuff that could be allowed, other things that, need to be, worked out to decide, what you're actually going to allow at your table.
So do you want to actually read the GM 911?
Sure. All right, so I've got a player who's really excited to try out this weird character, and they're asking for a lot, but each thing seems so minor, and it does sound interesting. I'm curious how you'd rule on it, especially since I have seen some issues that'll come up later. She wants a character who's built around shields. She says that she'll take all the AC she can get, but it's more important that the character moves right. She wants them to skate, roll, and tumble on shields. She also wants them to fight with shields. So far, I've told her to take the Tavern Brawler to turn the shield into an improvised weapon that she can be proficient in. She's also talking about going Monk Kensei to use it as her Kensei weapon, and maybe Rogue to get sneak attack damage. This part might be asking too much, but I see the logic of Kensei weapons are Monk weapons, and Monk weapons effectively have finesse. And I'll get to, my little addendums and whatnot that I've got written in here. Where she hasn't gone yet, but should come up later, are magic shields. Should I give her a +2 shield that has a +2 to attack and +2 to damage? One last thing, she wants to be proficient in using bucklers as skates and a shield as a surfboard, kind of like in the new Zelda game. Also, it was seen in the Lord of the Rings movie when Legolas skates down the stairs on a shield, firing his arrows. Should I even care about that? She's talking about taking the folk hero background to get a new land vehicle proficiency for it. Lastly, if she doubles up and goes 2 shields, as a monk she'll get flurry of blows. She says she'll punch with shields. Should that still count in flurry of blows, or no? Ultimately, her martial arts will outstrip her shield damage, so I don't see an issue, but maybe it weighs too much. Anyway, thanks for any advice you have.
All right, so there's a few things to unpack. For permission. It's not necessary. It's your game. You can play it however you want. If you don't have a problem with it, you can just say yes and do it. Like, is there anything that's like completely game breaking about this? Probably not. Is this character, like, the character can't do a lot of stuff they want to do if they're wearing armor, so they're going to get extra bonuses for using shields. I don't think technically you could get the shield armor class and use the armor class for monk, so you'd have to calculate one way or the other. So there's some conflicting things there. But that being said, if you were going to allow them to get the shield AC on top of the monk unarmored defense, as the GM, that's your prerogative. You can completely do that. 2 16s at first level, that's like a 20 AC to your unarmored monk. It's a bit high. I mean, you can do it. There's other ways of actually doing it. Not many,
all right,
but it can be done.
So there's nothing that actually gives you the ability to get a bonus from 2 shields. Now, mayhaps you want to take a bastardized version of, Kensei and, have that, well, there's a particular branch of monks that fight with shields and they do all this cool stuff. And you could go down that road if you want. So if this were in my game, kudos on the cool concept. You're not getting the +2 twice. That would be my ruling. Specifically, page 78 of the Player's Handbook, beginning of first level, while you are wearing no armor and not wielding a shield, your AC equals 10 plus Dex plus Wisdom. So you can't get monk armor and shield as a bonus for being a regular monk. that could be something built into a specific subclass.
By Raw. Yes.
By Raw, absolutely. And rule however you want in your game. Additionally, in martial arts, you gain the following benefits while you are unarmed or wielding only monk weapons, and you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. And that goes into the whole martial arts bonus. So your whole flurry of blows, your attacking unarmored, using dex instead of strength. Nothing calls out that monk weapons become finesse. It words it similar, but it doesn't, and you technically can't flurry with it again unless you wind up making like a separate monk order, which I would totally wind up doing. I love the concept of what they want to do here, and it'd be very interesting. I would just, you're only going to get the one shield bonus. You're only going to get the, you're not going to be able to sneak attack with a shield. I'm sorry. It's not a finesse weapon. It never will be.
Yeah, you might want to do some research here. There's really cool tortoiseshell shields. They're not actually made of tortoise shells, but they kind of had that look, and they're huge, right? And I've seen them used like in martial arts movies and stuff. So that would be a good place to start. Or you can throw all that out the window and just be like, this is what my player wants to do. I'm letting them do it. Don't care.
There's nothing game breaking in here. The best that they're going to get away with is they're going to get an extra +2 to their armor class if you allow it. In regards to, if you give her a shield that has magical bonuses, like, you could either give her one that has the capacity to act like a defender. You choose how much of it goes towards armor class and how much of it goes for offensive damage. It's just a sliding scale.
I think that's actually a great way to go, where you go, oh, these are magic, and I think in theory, even if you went with +0 to damage and hit, it's still technically a magic weapon, yes, because it is the defender property.
Right. So if you went with a a magic shield that conferred bonus to your armor class, and you attacked with it, it's still a magic item. It should overcome resistances as any other magic item would. It just is not conferring a bonus to hit and damage as per normal, unless you get a more advanced version. But I definitely feel there's a lot going on here, in regards to using the bucklers as skates and a shield as a surfboard. I would want them to play that out. I'd be like, look, you need to get some kind of tinker tools or smith tools, and you need to workshop it, figure it out, set some DCs, and have them play it out in game, as opposed to be like, oh yeah, once they finally figure it out, it's like they were born to it, so you don't have to worry about I had this floating proficiency and I'm not using it.
I also feel like it's very environment dependent. It's like saying my character wants to be able to ski. What do you need to ski? If you're water skiing, you need water and something to pull you. If you're skiing, down a mountain, well, you need a mountain and snow, right? So, I would, like, it's a trick, right? When you want to do the thing, make an athletics check or an acrobatics check or whatever you decide, and allow them to do them. As far as allowing them to skate across regular ground, if there was some kind of magic on them and maybe they're like bucklers, it creates a frictionless surface that allows them to move a little bit faster. To me, that seems like it would be more of a magic item than an ability.
Absolutely. And the last thing that they bring up, is fighting flurry of blows with 2 shields. I mean, the monk damage is a set thing. I don't care what you're wielding, whether it be your fist, whether it be a dagger, whether it be a staff, or whether it be a pair of shields. It's not going to affect the mechanics of the game, how the damage is being applied. So in this case, go ahead and let them.
Yeah, it would just be kind of early on that there might be a difference where, like, you decide you're going to be like a stickler to the rules and be like, this is an improvised weapon. It does a die 4. Or you're like, I feel like a shield is at least worth the damage of a club, and it's going to do a die 6. So like that would be in the beginning. That would be the only place. Now, personally, I've seen this brought up tons of times. I personally hate this idea. I don't know why. It doesn't appeal to me, but if that's what your player wants and you're on board with it, like I said, I just feel like you're asking for permission and you really don't need to. If you don't think it's going to hurt your game, I don't. If you think it'll be fun for your player, and it sounds like it would be, if you yourself are on board with it, just do it. Like, add it into your game and enjoy.
100%. Like, there's nothing that, you know, we're getting into. It's not like you're trying to be like, oh, I want the shield to be like a die 12 weapon that I can sneak attack with. No, none of that was listed. Everything was kind of approached from a reasonable standpoint. I put forth my thoughts based on raw and how I would handle it.
A lot of the suggestions were actually from the GM. It sounded like too, right? Like how to make this happen, how to make it better.
So, like, I would fully embrace this character's concept and develop a separate monk order specific to this fighting style, or whatever class that they want to work with, whether it be fighter, whether it be barbarian, whether it be monk. Any of them could work easily in going down this road, and you could have something that's pretty fun and interesting, should you so desire. But by raw, a lot of the things that they're asking for just aren't stacking up. So you either have to just hand wave it and say, it's okay in my book, or, you need to say, well, how do we write some new rules, create a new subclass, and come up with something that's going to work, and give them what they want, if you're so inclined.
I believe it's Volo's Guide to the Monsters has the Fire Giant Dreadnought, which has some, like, the concept is that Fire Giant fights with 2 shields, right? Well, you could look at that and scale that down and see what abilities Wizards of the Coast gave that Fire Giant, and see, like, if you're going that route where you're creating a character class and you're looking for archetype abilities, you could look at that and go, well, what can I do with this? Can I scale this back to a more reasonable representation of those powers for a player character? Like, I think they get some kind of rush and they get their attacks, so you could look at that and kind of like reverse engineer it.
That's a solid point. Fire Giant Dreadnoughts over right above your shoulder.
I think I can see him in here somewhere.
Right there.
So this is our inaugural Patreon only live chat where we're going to handle GM 911s. It's going to be an unlisted video. So if it turns out that, hey, you want to share this with your group, you could definitely do that. They would just need the link in order to find it. It just won't be public on YouTube. While we're doing these, you guys can ask questions, or girls, as the case may be, can ask questions and we'll take them in. Or you can email them to nerdarchy@gmail.com. And we can, answer the questions, and then you can go watch it at your leisure if you can't make it live.
You also have the ability, because this is Patreon. You can send a message through Patreon as well.
Yes, absolutely. But so there's tons of different ways you can message us. So we're gonna probably go do Christmas. I'm gonna do Christmas stuff. Ted's probably gonna go die because he's definitely sick today, but he's been a real trooper.
I've tried my best.
So this is our first one. Let us know what you think, and what kind of stuff you guys want us to tackle in these after chats. So with that, until next time,
Stay nerdy.